A very good day, friends. Myself, Mr.Deepak Singh from allpoetry.com, Academy of Arts, Aartiii the Jyoti. I hope you are enjoying the poems over there and reviving your thoughts and way of mechanism of the words culture given over there. My friend, today again I am with a very unique poetry that I want to discuss here. You may like it when I would be bringing some elaborate meaning on that what was the purpose or what was the main objectives about the poetry over there. My friend, combination. We are all accustomed of the fact of combination. We are all accustomed of the fact of permutation combination. We are all accustomed of the fact of assembly. We are all accustomed of the fact of matrix and even determinants. The array, the linearity, the linear programming of known from the unknown, the order and the disorder. So these all mechanisms of knowing that are inculcated in our mind culture even. The topic of the poem today, my friend, is Rubik Neurons, romantic equation, mind activity vectors, with an operational sign that given over there is Rubik neuron, that is in matrix form as a romantic equation. And there comes out a composition of mind activity vectors. My friend, you all know what a Sudoku is. You have all come across any time when you get leisure or when you are spare of any moments. You like to solve the Sudoku problems over there. My friend, you have come across Rubik's square, the colors, the combinations of color over there, the application that you make on there. These are all the workouts of our neurons. The circuit that ties up with the rate of time, the space that it brings up, an assembly of colors, or the arrangement of numbers that do come over there, or an intricacy of a beauty and a win factor when the thing is done. On that basis, I have written this poetry, my friend. That is Rubik Neurons matrix romantic equation. The equation under the consideration or the neurons which are under the consideration of Rubik structure. What is Rubik structure? The combination form. Now, my friend, we know very well that the neurotransmitter are not a lonely or solitude. There are numerous of neurotransmitters acting in our way. There are numerous of them. According to the aperture of traits, according to the sense of behavioral culture, the induction of the neurons take place or works out according to the formation of the aptitude of the behavioral culture. So those are all the Rubik culture here, as in a poetic sense mentioned over here. the numbers that we imbibe in a Sudoku culture, the technique that we follow to make a Sudoku are also numerical bindings of the neurons, my friend. So, as the poetry is said in that way, the Rubik neurons matrix the romantic equation. Why the romantic equation? What is romance? What is romantic? A thing of beauty, a thing of compliments, a thing of appreciation. So, on that sense, equation is mentioned over here as a circuit. A circuit garners in the gateway. A circuit comes in or come across in the systemization of our gateway with the composition of mind vectors or mind activity vectors. And what are the mind activity vectors, my friend? The mind activity vectors are the components, the major components, my friend. Even the contours of components inside the mind, the contours that we all feel beyond or overt, in an overt sense, the same contour is there in the terms of components in our mind too. Poetic sense would be assessed to be like that. What is wrong in assessing the virtue of consciousness in that way? So let me go through the poem, my friend. The calibration that of the constitution of the forged and will mind with determinants. As the first line very nicely said, the calibration. The calibration means the preciseness of every act that is being done or that would had to be done on. The measure, the scale of work that has to be done on is very precise to be, the calibrated to be. That of the constitution is referred to as that according to the rule. That according to the rule of knowing the perceptions, that how I would bring on the sight or how I will bring on my auditory sense to bring into effect. This has not to be said on, but we are very well, it is all fetched out. So that is the way or the constitution of customizing of our own self, of the forged and will mind with determinants. And then those contours, lines, or those components that are forged in our anvil mind, the mass of that anvil, mass of the anvil mind, that is that, or that are the curvature of contours acting on there, are knitted with the coordinatal terms of determinants, the square matrix, and that is why it is calibrated to precise. The second line, as it is said, my friend, bindings with the dipping neurons to features the neuronal architecture circuit meant. And thus the neuronal architecture, the total structure of our neuronal consortium take place in the circuitry form, right from the temporal collage or the temporal radio station of our mind, the limbic system, to the hierarchical form of all the parietal and the sensory system, with the frontal lobe, with the cortex, with the cerebellum acting together in integration, and assemble a circuit in the form of differentiation and integration, continuously in an alternate form acting together in an instant of time, in a fraction of time. We know the speed of the light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. We can make it out that how much speed it is. But the reaction time of our neuronal factor is even like that almost. It is very instantaneous. And the third line, my friend, as it is said, sort are the mappings of spatial assets. And as the thinking process of the space that wells up, ocean up, seas up in the mind curvature, or could be said as a sky log, comes into the form of mind, and that takes the shape of a spatial log. That is our spatial densities, or the spatial volumes to act on by the effect of the mass of our mind, my friend. So, as it is said, the sort are the mappings of spatial assets. And what are the mappings? That means it is totally under the determination. It is totally under the circumference of act. My ability to run a race has got a distinguished factor to someone else. I may not be totally equivalent to be in my course of speed with the other. I had got my own mappings in my weight by the virtue of my own mind. And that's why it is said here, my friend, sort are the mappings of spatial assets to beyond face cement. And as I gave you the example of this athletic term or the aerobics term, the running, it always has a tendency to bring on a sense to go beyond the fence. It is not that today I had ran at the speed of maybe 50 kilometer per hour or 55 kilometer per hour. Tomorrow I would be running exactly with the same speed. May not be. It may not be, my friend. Tomorrow I would be running, might be of 65 kilometer per hour or 40 kilometer per hour or maybe 20 kilometer per hour. I'm just giving a rough estimation. That is not an average, a normal speed. That is already a runner runs 40 kilometer per hour, 36 kilometer per hour. That is the highest speed. Just I'm giving you a scale of assumption. A normal person may run 20 to 25 kilometer per hour. So that 20 to 25 kilometer per hour is not fixed today, as it would be tomorrow. So that's why it is said that to beyond fence cement. And that is slowly what is today, tomorrow may be beyond fence, or maybe not beyond. It is unbound maybe for tomorrow. On the fourth line, as the compliments or the appreciation is maintained over here, as said, the romantic equation with neuronal dribble. A neuronal dribble is complete over there. All the apparatus that sprays their activity facts. The corners of apparatus of our weight that fetches the system to get under the unit synchronization to act on in a unit moment to bring out a curvature of act on an event is a romantic equation of